One Piece chapter 1028 is out, and boy was there a lot packed into this chapter. I love the color spread we got this week because it's basically Usopp and Nami just playing Smash Bros. And then you have a bunch of these Straw Hats as the fighters. You have like Frankie as Donkey Kong, you have Jinbei as Mario, you have Robin as Morrigan, you have Zoro as Link. Just another lively color spread all around. The chapter starts with us talking with CP0, and just about every time we go back to CP0, it just indicates that we're getting a recap of what's happened so far. You know, we're getting an update on the numbers of the Beast Pirate side, an update on the Alliance side, an update on basically everything that has happened as they get informed themselves. This time they're talking about Momo and how they have discovered what happened with Vegapunk's failed fruit, and that Momo's using it, and that Momo has been able to turn into a dragon. Even with that being said, they still say that they don't really care about the outcome. And this has been kind of a repeated thing every time we go back to CP0. You know, when we talk about who's who, when we're talking about the fight in itself, they keep talking about they don't really care about the outcome. All they really care about is what they can do after the fight's over. So after the pirates are basically taking each other out, what they're going to do. And what they want to do is basically what I assumed some discussions ago, and that's that they're going to come into Wano and take over once the fighting is done. Basically, they're waiting for all the big names to take themselves out so that they can just swoop in, take what they want, and, you know, claim Wano for their own. They even have ships ready to move in. And the thing about this is that if everyone strong is pretty much being taken out by a fight, there's going to be no one that can resist the Navy coming in. Because basically you have Kaido, you have the Straw Hats, you have the key members of the Alliance, and you have like the key members of the Beast Pirates. All those people are pretty much going to be down. You know, all the commanders will be out. Most of the Straw Hats have finished their big fight, so they're not going to be able to withstand anything else. Luffy's going to be done fighting Kaido, and however that goes, none of them are going to be in fighting shape to take on the Navy. Of course, this is assuming that they don't just send fodder, like they actually have to send some vice admirals, some admirals, some people that can actually fight. Otherwise, you know, even a weakened Kaido or a weakened Straw Hat crew can take on some fodder marines. This also gets me thinking about Blackbeard, because we know he mentioned that he wanted to set sail and claim something that the world government was going to take for themselves. Now, there are a lot of options here, and to me, they fall around the ancient weapons. So is Blackbeard going after Alabasta to try and find Pluton? Is it possible that he wants to go to Wano to find some of the other poneglyphs and get some insight on other ancient weapons like Kaido's doing right now? Could he be on his way to Wano to take over before the government does? And could this be the reason that Shanks will make his move, which we expect before the year is up? Now, it turns out the members of CP0 that are on Wano are communicating with none other than Rob Lucci right now. And of course, Rob Lucci gives them the order to capture Nico Robin. So as it stands, CP0's goal in Wano is to 1. Make sure Who's Who is dead, 2. Annex Wano, and 3. Capture Nico Robin. Oda is emphasizing yet again Robin's importance in this arc, and how basically all of the big names here are going after her. We know Kaido is, we know Big Mom is, we have the speculation that at some point Blackbeard will be, and we have the world government coming after Robin yet again. We know that Robin is in a weakened state right now from fighting, and we know that she doesn't have a lot of people around her. So could this be the moment in which they start making plans to capture her? We then go over to Momo, who has been tasked with stopping the island from crashing down into the flower capital. And so far, he is failing. Basically, he's supposed to be making flame clouds that model Kaido's and that can at least hold the island back, if not push it away from the flower capital. Now, he understands the importance of doing this and making sure that, you know, he is the one who's able to create the clouds and keep Onigashima away, but he's still struggling. Basically, all he can do is keep up the clouds that keep him in the air. He can't create the storm of clouds that Kaido has around the island. And while Yamato says that she believes Momo can do it, she actually leaves in order to go get rid of the explosives. Basically, she's trying to mitigate the damage just in case the island does fall. We see her scale the island in hybrid form, and then we see her switch to full Zoan form, which is basically a big wolf. And we actually see her run next to some heart pirates. Oddly enough, these look like the same heart pirates that were back at Tokage Port, because we see what looks to be Jean Bart, and then we see the white mask with the spiky hair. Now these were definitely the people that were back at the port in chapter 1025. I'm not entirely sure how they got up there. I don't know if this means that Shinobu is up there too, but I'd like to see what's happening here because we get some dialogue from them, but we explicitly don't really see what's happening with them. We just see a glimpse of them. And then we move to the third part of the chapter, basically the big part, Sanji versus Queen. And basically what's happening is Oda is giving Sanji and Zoro their own moments in their chapters, so they're not focusing on both King and Queen, Sanji and Zoro in one chapter. They're kind of spreading it out so that each character gets some breathing room. Now we see that Sanji is having a tough time getting through Queen's Zoan form, very similar to how he was having a tough time fighting Jabra. Now it wasn't that Jabra was outclassed for him, it was just that his kicks weren't getting through Tekai. Here we even have him using Diablo Jambe, but it's still not doing enough damage to really get past the dinosaur hide. Now Queen's been goading Sanji to kind of use his enhancements, to use whatever he got from the Vinsmoke family, which of course Sanji at this point doesn't think he has anything but the raid suit. And Sanji is vehemently refusing to put the raid suit back on. This is to be expected from Sanji, but Queen is not having it, and he shows us a really weird transformation that apparently is part of the Brachiosaurus. Now this is clearly like a gag very similar to Sasaki in how his fins could basically propel and rotate around his neck. It's not how dinosaurs work, but it's a fun gag that Oda wanted to throw in there. Queen has a snake form in which he basically shoots his neck out of his torso and becomes a giant anaconda. Like with Sasaki, I want to say that this is a cyborg enhancement, but Queen kind of states that this is part of a Brachiosaurus's power. So he doesn't really say he enhanced himself to be able to do this. He says this is how dinosaurs work. So it feels like the jury is out. It would definitely make sense because he talks about the rest of his body being enhanced with like rockets and different kinds of things. But it just seems like this is straightforward a gag. And as he has Sanji wrapped up in his Brachiosaur hiss form, he talks about the rockets and such that's been changed in his torso. And as he does that, because they're voice activated, he keeps getting shot by his own rockets. Basically, he gets shot a couple times, and this causes him to lose his grip on Sanji and go back to his main body. And this is when we see that Sanji has taken damage from the coil, but it looks like his body is just folding up, basically like origami. In seconds, it starts regenerating and forming back to his normal form, and we see that he has gained some kind of enhancements from the Vinsmoke family. Basically, he has that feat that kind of gives him durability and regeneration from taking damage. This is the strange feeling that he had a couple of chapters ago after he put on the raid suit. It's come forth so much so that even a swing from Queen just breaks the blade on Sanji's face with no more than an ouch from Sanji. Basically, if you were waiting for a power-up outside of a raid suit for Sanji, this is it right here. Because Sanji's weakest point has always been his durability. He doesn't take hits like everyone else does, he just doesn't. Virgo cracked his shin. We know Jabra was able to pierce him pretty easy. Like his fights tend to end with him kind of scratched up, but not exactly tough fights. So now he's basically gotten rid of that. He has regen, he has durability, he has the enhanced exoskeleton that will give him the chance to fight people one-on-one without taking a lot of any damage. How this will help his offensive capabilities, I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't seem like it adds any enhanced native strength, but we'll have to see how this plays out. It's almost odd to me because this is a very strong power-up for Sanji. And while I fully expect Zoro to get another one as well, this puts Sanji in a really good spot to be a top fighter. Because now he can last in a fight. You know, the sustainability of his fights had just gone up dramatically. At some point, Sanji mentioned he didn't want to put on the raid suit until Usopp and Frankie made some adjustments to it, but at this point, I wonder if he even will put it on again. That being said, we know that the raid suit and the exoskeleton aren't basically impervious to damage because people the likes of Katakuri, Smoothie, Big Mom, all pretty much took out the raid suit fighters in the Vinsmokes with relative ease. So I don't think this completely one-sides the Sanji versus Queen fight, but it makes it a lot closer. Basically, Sanji is not going to be getting thrown around anymore. He's going to be trading blow for blow, tanking hits much easier, and then that's going to progress to the point where he can actually overcome Queen. Definitely an excellent chapter. I'm excited to see where this new development with Sanji takes us. I'm more excited to see how Sanji feels about this personally, because I know he doesn't want to be a Vince Smoke. I know he doesn't want the enhancements. He doesn't want the raid suit. So I kind of wonder how he's going to feel about this. We can already see that he doesn't like what's happening because he's saying he doesn't want to be a monster. He doesn't want to be like them. So I really wonder if there's a way to take away the abilities, if he's going to try and cover them up, what he's going to do to cope with turning into more of a Vince Smoke. As always, there will be a poll in the description below. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye.